Joe, like we're here to have fun tonight. You know what I mean?
Oh, so, dang. Okay, so the energy is here.
Yeah. Yes.
Crackhead energy part 2.
Oh god.
Oh man.
All right. Yo, what's going on? This is the Highly Advised Podcast. I am here with my amigos and compadres, and we have an extra amigo and compadre here with us tonight. Guys, how are you doing? Big Cozy, Too Cozy, how are you doing? Sing Kitch, how are you doing? You. And SoKlene from the SoKlene Podcast, you are back. How are you doing?
Yo. I've been good, chilling. You know, the use.
I hear that. Same here. Just enjoying our time. How's the podcast and everything been going for you?
So I've been taking a break on the podcast. I was working at the studio. Woo! It was a journey. I loved it. It is a lot. I had to drive like an hour during rush hour every Wednesday. Was it worth it? It was an experience, yeah. But I just feel like I wasn't able to bring my best because like I was tired. I was dehydrated. I was exhausted. I was going through it, but it was fun though.
I think that's probably the best thing though. You take a lot from those experiences. Like I'm quite sure like you're going to reapply it in a different type of way when the next episode comes out.
True. I'm not back at it again, but I just feel like I liked my process. I liked what I was doing before. It was like a good schedule. I just feel like the audience did notice that like I was slipping like, it's all over the place. I got the comments, involvement, engagement. I was like, okay, gotta take a break.
And we might be trying to get a little sneak peek before anybody else does.
Ooh.
We are going to get the sneak peek. We're going to get it.
So with everything, like you said, with it being a break, any idea when you're coming back, or is it still a coming soon thing?
It's a coming soon thing. I don't have a date, but I have an idea. I'll tell you the layout I want to do, y'all.
Okay.
I want like an in-person podcast experience. Like I've done it before, right, Nigel? And I liked it.
Yeah.
And I want to start doing that more often, but not all the time. So it's not going to be a weekly thing. It's going to be more of a like on basis, case by case basis kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's dope. We were actually talking about trying to do our first live one in over a year because we were planning to take a trip out to the West Coast. So we're trying to be like the SoKlene Podcast. We're trying to be big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all the ones who went viral. I said, okay, y'all part of the algorithm. Okay. That YouTube algorithm. I was like, I see you.
Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? We just keep pressing along. You know how it goes. But
True.
Listen, we probably going to do some numbers with this episode with you also. You know what I'm saying? You always bring, like, in case people haven't heard, we've had Kathleen on the show before.
Yeah.
And as she likes to phrase it, she brings the crackhead energy to the show.
100%.
but in a positive manner. Because as you can see, listeners, and for the YouTube fans that will be watching the video, you can see she don't look like no crackhead.
Exactly. They get it twisted. Like, I feel like there's a stigma with like crackhead energy. Yeah, there's crack, but
explain it for the listeners, please.
Right? I'm not even that type to explain, but I just feel like being lit doesn't have to be like, oh, she's a hot mess. Oh, she needs to get her life together. Like, no, I just be fun, you know?
Yeah. Say it again for the people in the back, man.
Hey.
Yeah. 2 times louder, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nah, I'm not gonna hold you. Like the crackhead energy is definitely needed though at times, especially when it's like time to like turn up. I'm not sure if you heard, but like the Migos, they dropped an album recently.
Yes.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure if did you check Culture 3 out?
I sure did.
Really? What was your thoughts on it?
Birthday's a banger. Birthday's a bop. Everything else, it's all right.
Oh, so you weren't feeling it like that?
I mean, it's all right. I was like vibing, but like Birthday left an impression on me.
Okay.
You know what's crazy though about that song? Me and Nigel were talking about the album, and he was like, "Yo, I could see women liking that song."
Yes.
There it
Okay.
goes right there. No, it's something
The
that girls
girl.
can dance to. It's like, hey, it's my birthday, da 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 da. Give me a bag, blah blah blah. Like, it's something that you can have fun to. You know what I mean?
Put that right next to thought shit.
Yes, it's on that category.
See?
Yeah. Listen, man. One thing we can always say about the Migos is that they always find a way of making a song that can that can play off in a club
100%.
anytime.
Yeah, but the album overall was entertaining.
Yeah, it was a pretty good album. I think I was actually surprised how good the album was. Like I was telling Lau and Nigel, I had low expectations for this project. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna just be honest. Like I didn't have the highest expectations for the Migos. Like they've put out projects prior before that weren't the best. They tried to chase with some singles that most people weren't feeling, as well as like straightening. A lot of the reception from it wasn't even that great. So I just figured, I'm like, hey, this album, I'm going to listen, but I am not expecting this album to be that great. And it exceeded my expectations. It sounded like they were able to keep their style while switching up the beats.
True.
And not having, without sounding like outdated. Because like they're kind of the originator of that sound that pretty much echoes throughout the industry now to some extent. So it was a pretty good album though, for the most part. Curious to see how like it all plays out throughout the year. So definitely during the summertime.
I think it's definitely going to be something that plays during the summertime. Like, I like this album. It's a pretty good album. Like the Migos, one of my critiques of them have been in the past that, like, as you listen to their albums, like, it gets a little bit stale. But I think for the most part, overall, like, I can say I like majority of the songs on there. Avalanche is pretty nice. I think it's Why Not is also a good song that I like. That beat's kind of hard. The features on there are actually cool. I like the Juice WRLD song. I think that song actually sounds pretty good.
Oh yeah, I like that one too.
There's a few songs on there that I was actually surprised and wasn't necessarily looking forward to, like, because of the features, I'll say. And I actually enjoyed them. I think, the music sounds good. The Cardi B feature is cool. Like, I definitely would listen to this and try to suggest this for people, especially if they like something that's not like, overly lyrical, but is actually good rap.
I mean, you didn't like the Goat Man's song?
What are you talking about?
Come on, Drake.
Yeah, I like the Drake song.
It was mellow.
That joint was hard.
It was hard, but it was mellow. It was chill.
I mean, Naja's not a big Drake fan, so
yeah.
I didn't say anything about Drake. y'all brought him up and tried to say I didn't like it.
I mean, he low-key has a hating relationship with Drake, but
didn't say a word.
Hey man, listen, you don't have to say anything when we know the truth.
I hear you, man.
Listen, it's documented within the episodes.
You're right.
Yeah.
So, but nah.
So my take on the album, and it's gonna be real quick, but I like Culture 3. I think Culture 3 was a good album. I think it could have benefited if they got rid of a few songs and make it more compact and concise. I still think Culture 1 is the best out of the three, but Culture 3 is a lot better than Culture 2. Culture 2 is written with a lot of repetitive shit, a lot heavy hardcore auto-tune. I know you guys know how I feel about hardcore auto-tune. So like shouts out to the Migos for coming out with a solid album. Actually, I think it might be the best album of the weekend because we had some other projects that came out. I know Spence was a big fan of the Larry June album.
Yes, the orange print. Yeah. Absolutely. I wore orange just because of that today. Like
true fan.
Like, it was only right. Like, that to me personally, Orange Print was a really great Larry June song. Well, not song, but album. As always, Larry June delivers with another designer project. I'm not sure. I forget who exactly was the producer on this project, but always like any other time, Larry June always hits it out the park. Sounds like he's built a little bit more onto the sound. Changed the sound. He changed the sound in a way where it sounds like it's evolving, but it's not too far removed from what he's once did. So That's just my take on it, like a quick synopsis. But yeah, really good song, really good album. Oh,
Kathleen, have you ever heard of a rapper named Larry June?
I 100% didn't. And I'm usually like relevant. I could usually keep up, but I mean, hey, this is news to me.
Yeah.
So Larry June, I like him personally, but he's not like mainstream level.
Okay.
And that's not a knock on him. It's just that's not what he is. So I recommend anybody like, hey, check him out. See, you know, if you fuck with his shit or not. But we're fans of him me and Spence are fans of him. So we're hoping that
he just left me out of it. Like I like Larry June too.
Yeah. No, see, it's on the list of things he hates along with Drake. So
I haven't had a chance to. That's nowhere near true at all. No, I actually just haven't had the chance to listen to it yet. I was giving other things a chance. Yeah, like Polo G. I decided, to give it a listen. And, I'm just listening to other things that came out, seeing as what's going on.
How was the Polo G project real quick? I meant to listen to it. I haven't listened to it yet. Is it worth checking out?
I think you might like it.
Okay.
You know how I feel. So, Kathleen, was there anything like music-wise that you checked out that we didn't mention, or maybe like the listeners or maybe your fans, your loyal legions of fans should check out?
I wish, no, but I just feel like the Migos album is going to be like what sticks. I feel like to me, nothing has come out in a while that I'm going to like listen to like in the car. Like the last thing I remember was Drake's album, Laugh Now, Cry Later. That was like one of the big albums everybody was playing. I just could imagine like the Migos album being that right now. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nah, that's big. I speaking of Drake, actually, because it's hard to ever really get away from him, right? Like he put because he.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask Kathleen because, like she was saying about the Migos album, because it's still rumor that Drake should be dropping his album sometime soon. We're just still waiting. So I was wondering, like, what do you think? What are your expectations for Drake's album when it comes out?
High. I feel like it's gonna be one of those albums that everybody's gonna be playing. So you're gonna be stopped at a stoplight, and then you're gonna be hearing like "Laugh Now, Cry Later" kind of like level of popularity.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think Drake can impress us more than what he's ever done before?
No, he just keeps everybody at the certain level.
So Kathleen,
so he keeps space between him and the competition.
Yeah.
So Kathleen, Spencer's trying to do something right now, and he's trying to use your opinion. He's trying to use your opinion to further his opinion. And it's okay because you probably don't know as to what he's doing because he's trying to mention something. He's trying to mention something without actually mentioning it.
No.
Like so it's
there we go.
It's nice that
trap.
No, your opinions are valid. There's nothing wrong with them, but he's trying to.
What you mean?
He's trying to carry something on.
That's your insecurities, man. That's your insecurities.
Listeners,
man.
go back and listen like 5 episodes and come right back here.
Yo, listen, man. Listen, matter of fact, listen to all 60 episodes. And
exactly.
Come back here.
This is episode 60, y'all. We didn't even say anything. Episode 60. Shouts out to us.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Congrats.
Thank you.
It's the consistency.
It's a special episode. We got the legendary,
SoKlene.
Queen Kathleen, aka SoKlene.
Love it.
Yeah, there we go.
Dang, it's an honor that I'm here, y'all.
See, you're celebrating with us.
Yo, listen, you were our first guest on the show.
You were.
So, you were our first guest on the show, so it's only right. Episode 60, we bring you back.
Hey, it's meant to be.
Yeah, changing of the guard.
And then maybe episode 120, you'll be back.
Oh, this is gonna be better.
Yo.
I mean, if I could like blow like y'all's like head up right now, here we go. Okay. You guys know you were my inspiration for my podcast.
Okay.
For real.
Okay.
Yes. And then just a few months later, when you guys started it, like Nigel was like, you should start one. And now here we are.
See? I mean,
came a long way.
Also, listeners, if you listen to her podcast, the latest episode, and we recommend you still going to check it out, even though she's on a little hiatus because she's trying to plan for something big, you'll hear yours truly, the guy.
Oh, yeah.
The main event. I'm on every intro.
He really is. He really is.
Shouts out to her, though, because she was like, hey, I have an idea. I got a plan. Could you do a little something? I was like, you know what? Yeah, I got you. This one's on the house. Because, listeners, I usually charge. But
yeah, he really do. I was thinking about that because I know you.
But for Miss SoKlene, I did my thing. And, thank you to her for just keep
you on every episode. Yeah. Yes, it's fresh. It has like a certain vibe. Everybody's always like, yo, I was bumping to that intro. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And you got like the Sierra beat in the background. So it's like the perfect combination, man. The perfect storm. Like it's low key. It's kind of like, how many episodes? What's the episode number you're at currently? Kathleen?
39. I have some episodes that I haven't published yet. So
okay. Oh, so that's even more. So technically speaking, Lau has done almost 100 episodes. Technically speaking,
look at Lau working over there.
There we go.
See,
come on, man.
Hey, man, they don't call me Big Cozy for nothing.
I'm like in a room. I'm in the Zoom full of talented.
Ooh, okay, you rhyming.
Yes, talent right here. Because we all collab with different people, but y'all bring it every time.
Thank you.
Period.
Thank you. Nah, we thank you. We appreciate it. But even you, you still keep, at the end of the day, like I think we all kind of came up together to some extent. 100%. Like we started at different times, but it's kind of like at a culmination of like, oh, everybody's still working. So even like the work you've been doing is like very inspiring, super great. It's cool to see what you've been doing. And we can't wait to see you back. For real.
And you put us on to a couple people, like, shouts out to the homegirl Jessie,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, can't forget about Nigel's man, right-hand man, $100,000, Chief of Thought. So,
Chief of Thoughts, yeah.
Man, this is a fun episode.
This is a fun episode. Yeah. We have another thing to talk about. Spence, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and bring us into this, because I know
the Messiah misogyny.
And we really got to get Kathleen on this next topic, because I'm telling you right now, this is the woman perspective. The woman perspective.
Not that matters.
The only one that matters, at least for this time of space, that all you jabronis are listening to. You need to listen to Queen Kathleen, the new and approved voice of reason of women. There you go.
Yes. Thanks. I'm hyped now.
Yeah, gotta get that energy up.
Yes.
Yeah, man. When someone brings you in like that, it's gotta be we already know you about to deliver.
Like, hey.
Yeah. So like my man's Nigel was saying, and like Lau was introducing you, we got a question actually. So I'm not sure if you're familiar, but the future. I'm gonna just call
lean in for this one.
The Messiah misogyny, Future Hendrix, right? And in a song probably about a couple weeks ago, him and 42 Doug, he had made a joint where he took some shots at Lori Harvey, talking about her, saying like, "Oh, I don't need her," blah 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 blah. Recently, as we had just talked about the Migos album, Quavo, skrt go, said he took the Bentley back. So
from who you take it from? Because he didn't take it from some ordinary hood rat.
Yo,
who you take it from? Let the listeners know who you take it from.
Took it from his ex-girlfriend who he was writing music for, aka Sweetie.
Love her.
Yeah, love her too. Actually, James Harden loves her as well, from what rumors are saying.
Yeah. Do we actually believe that before we get into this?
I'm just saying that's why I said rumors. I don't.
Yeah, because I think it's a rumor too.
Yeah, I can't see him doing that, but nonetheless. So we're wondering, how do you feel about like what X is bringing up, like these people talking about their relationships on, like, yeah, like, and from a, like, because to some extent, it's like when someone can't let this shit go, it's kind of like a toxic relationship at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But you like toxic relationships. I needed an update from the last time you recorded with us. So
dang. Ooh, I'm definitely in one, I think. So in regards to mentioning your ex in a song in public, this is what you're gonna say. So the fact that freaking what's his name? I forgot. Future said, "Oh, she's dating a lame." Like when she moved on, like I knew she was gonna downgrade. I said, "Dang." I mean, they're different energies. I don't want to consider like what's his name, Michael Jordan Jr. Is that his name?
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael Jordan Jr. Yeah, that shit's crazy.
That's the name of the episode.
Michael Jordan Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. Jesus.
I'm doing it correct. Yo, it's so hilarious. So
that's funny.
Yeah. Michael B. Jordan, they're different vibes. I wouldn't consider him a lame. I would consider him like privileged because definitely his dad's like rich AF. He hasn't lived that life. Like, I think they definitely come from different like backgrounds. I don't want to say it. Oh. Yeah. Because he's like rich and like famous. Rich. He's famous. Rich and famous kind of lifestyle in Cali. Because he has that Jordan Woods kind of energy. Like, if you compare like Jordan Woods and Megan Thee Stallion, I saw this video of them in the same room. And Megan Thee Stallion, she crazy, because she had, to do the come up. And then Jordan was like, yo, y'all crazy, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, I don't think she like ready or she used to it because she's always lived that Cali lifestyle.
Yeah, well, she was like best friends with
Kylie.
Yeah, with the Kardashian chick. So yeah, I get what you're saying. So it's like it's kind of like a square.
I didn't know you watch that show.
I
Sounds
don't.
very informed.
I mean, he was very informed.
If you look on episode, like, all right,
you got to watch the season finale.
Yeah,
tell the truth. Man. Come on.
Yeah, listen, man. I knew Kathleen was coming on the show, and for episode 60, I couldn't be ill prepared.
Right.
Hey.
Of course.
So
that's my favorite show too.
The Kardashians.
Yeah. Listen, man. When we have guests on, we make sure we do our homework. If I got to sit through 1,000 episodes of Coming Up with Kardashians or whatever.
Exactly. He doesn't know how to say it now.
Now
he had to clean it up.
He's fretting now.
Kardashian.
Like, come on.
In his head, he was like, damn it, man, I messed it up.
I'm dead.
Oh, y'all are stupid, man. But yeah. Nah, I mean, I think I'm with you though. Like, I mean, I think they're two separate types of guys, but at the same time, like, I don't know. As a Future fan, it's always going to sound conflicted because, like, it's Future at the end of the day. I'm a fan of his music, so I get it. It pushes the brand, but it's also like, hey, like, dude, you ain't have to really mention Shorty for no reason. Like, actually, how would you feel if you're in a relationship with someone and the guy took back anything that he bought you of value?
Petty?
100%. Why do you say that?
Because, like, it's like, I feel like if a dude's petty, you got to know beforehand. Because, he's going to be like everything you ever wanted in the beginning or certain moments. But, like, deep down, like, once you're petty, you're always petty.
I'm going to question your thought for a second.
Okay.
So.
Hey, Kevin.
Kevin Samuels. You know who that is, Kathleen? Kevin Samuels?
No.
I think you get a kick out of his content. Let's just say that.
We'll have to have you back.
Yeah. We'll talk about that for sure. Yeah. But so let's say, Quavo buys said Bentley and he's making payments on Bentley, or he just pays for it straight out, right?
Okay, on a logistical level, on a logical level, definitely take the car back.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead, La.
I was just going to say, like, hey, that's a Bentley. And if I'm not mistaken, when he got her that Bentley, I think like a couple months later, then they like broke up or had that falling out. So I'm like, it's not like he bought her a Toyota and he bought her a Bentley. That Bentley could be used elsewhere.
I'm sure he's enjoying it.
Yeah, well, whether him or he could give it to another side project that he had. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is like I'm not entirely mad at him at taking the Bentley. You know, something that came from his hard work. You know, but I could see why women are like, "Hey, that's a petty ass move." Despite the fact that it is a 6-figure car that the average person can't even dream of.
I'm taking the Bentley back. I'm taking the Bentley back. I think that he has every right to do so. And as far as Future and saying things on record, personally, it's not for me. But I would say that I don't expect anything else at this point in time from what we've heard from Future. You know what I mean? And shouts out to him for that. He made some classic shit with it.
The Messiah misogyny, man.
You like Future, Kathleen?
He's all right. I like him as an artist, maybe not as a person. I think like if I was his best friend, I'd be like, yo. He'd be always petty. Like I imagine texting him like if I gave him a short like response, he'd be like on some petty-ish. Like I could imagine. I don't even know what kind of conversation we would have, but like I'd be like, hey, what's up? Or like if I don't give enough energy, he'd be on some like, okay, like petty-ish.
So I'm gonna talk to you later. Clearly, you ain't got nothing to talk about.
So like if you happen to say okay, because let's say you're busy or something, you just like okay, he might be to start doing one word replies to you.
Right, exactly. That's his energy.
I mean, if he just answering a question, that's one word replies suffice.
True, but his energy would be like that consistent, where he's just like.
But Spence, come on, you talking to a woman, you know how the one word replies are. One word reply, come on, you know what that means.
I have no idea, man.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
They don't call him Saint for nothing, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Yo, man, what can I say? I was born an angel. I can't.
Right.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. Jeez, man. You guys are the worst. I don't know if you guys heard, but so last night, or over the weekend rather, Nome Xl dropped, where we had Geechee Gotti versus Rum Nitty, Tay Rock versus Chilla Jones, and a few other big name rappers were competing last night or over the weekend. Well, what came to happen was that Drake, who's an avid fan of battle rap, he actually dropped prior to the battle. He was putting up $150 reward for whoever wins the battle between Rum Nitty and Geechee Gotti.
$150,000 or $150?
Hey.
Yo, Drake betting $150 is crazy.
That's
like, get the fuck out of here, Drake. You'll come back here with.
So yeah, I got $100 for you, yo.
Shit.
But
all right, Drake.
Like, yo, come on, yo. That's like throwing me 25 cents. But nah, so he had actually put $100,000 on the battle. Then he upped it extra 50 right before the battle started. So just wanted to highlight that they haven't came up with a winner. Personally, I think it was close. I have Geechee Gotti winning the battle. But if you said Rum Nitty, I wouldn't be upset either. So just wanted to notify the people, the listeners of, like we say, we're the crawl space of MMA and pop culture. So
I got a question for you, Spence. Who did you think the winner was in the Lamar Odom and Aaron Carter battle that happened last night?
Who do I think the winner? I mean, the people won.
Did they?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did the people want? Come on, don't get me started,
bro.
This
that was entertaining. You watched that? I ain't gonna call him that.
Go ahead, get your shit off. I got an opinion.
we watched Lamar Odom, who we knew would beat Aaron Carter up. That was a given. We knew this was going to happen. Aaron Carter, we had seen on No Jumper for months ago. Oh, a couple of times last year, I think, because he had some reappearances. Clearly, the man was on drugs, and he's been on drugs, and he probably still is on drugs.
100%.
Up until this point, as we speak right now, as you're listening to this, right?
That's a fact.
Damn, like Oscar
coming in hot.
Yeah, like Oscar, man.
Oscar kicked the
oh my
drug
God,
habit.
I'm getting flashbacks.
Oscar kicked the drug habit. He's getting ready for Canelo.
Yeah, he's still the drug habit. Still on it.
Calls him Canelo now, man.
Yeah.
When I was watching this fight or just seeing the build up to it, like to me, like a lot of the celebrity stuff is for entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if, you know, somebody fights a YouTuber or whatever it is, a TikToker. You know, Jake Paul fights Nate Robinson. That's, you know, cool, whatever. But when it gets to the line of like you're putting on like the best fighter, one of the best fighters ever versus somebody who's never had like or never really fought real competition, or you have like, let's just say two lesser celebrities than what they were fighting, and one's like literally like maybe almost 7 foot, and you have, you know, like tweaking out Aaron Carter. Yeah. Like, it's not.
Size don't matter though.
It's entertaining, but it's sad. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
is it sad?
It's like I said. Did the people really win? Did anybody really win?
Did you not laugh at that?
Of course I did. But I
how
think
is that
about
not
it
entertaining?
too. But I laugh, but I think, you know.
Here you go with a kind heart.
Dude, but that's what they signed up for.
Yeah, exactly. Like, trust me, if it was other circumstances, I would have the same humility that you're having. But because they both are legally sane, they are not in any their system has not been infiltrated by the use of drugs, to our knowledge, when they signed the dotted line, right?
Fair enough.
So that it is entertainment, bro. Like, that's how I look
hear
at
you.
it.
And like I said, to a certain degree, it's funny. I laughed at the shit. Of course I did.
Yeah.
It's
Listen,
funny.
who did not love seeing Lamar Odom put his hands down and let Aaron Carter just punch him in the face 25 times?
They said he was the first boxer sagging his shorts in the ring.
I look at it like, this is the state of boxing. This is
where we're at now. I was thinking the same thing. Like, this is where we come.
Yeah, this is the highlight of boxing now. Like, so
is it?
I mean, come on, you're talking about it.
So because it's entertainment. What do you mean?
Exactly. That's the point of it, man.
But
that's the point. We have a Manny Pacquiao fight that's happening in less than 2 months' time. No one is talking about it.
Okay,
or Shakur Stevenson, who just fight over the weekend, who's an upcoming boxing star. Yes. Nobody's talking about it. Instead, the first thing that people are going to remember is Lamar Odom beating up a drug-ridden Aaron Carter. And like, and like, you know, shouts out to those two because they probably made some money. But now, when you mention boxing, you think about the celebrity and YouTube bullshit. You don't think about the actual sport. So people are going to be talking about
crazy. That's true.
There we go, man. It's crazy. Yeah. You mentioned it, Spence.
What do you mean? Nigel's the one that brought it up.
What? Yo, don't throw this shit in my lap.
You brought up Lamar Odom and Aaron Carter, but nonetheless.
Kathleen, do you like Aaron Carter? Did you grow up listening to Aaron Carter?
I had a crush on his bro. I love Aaron Carter.
What do you make of all this?
Yeah.
I feel like I think the industry is using their drug-ridden like mentality to their advantage nowadays. It's like the new reality TV. Like the Kardashians are like over. So what are we gonna watch now? Shoot. So
it's nothing better than watching like your favorite singer from your childhood, one of your favorite athletes from childhood, one of your favorite singers from childhood, or their little brother. Duke it out. Why not?
Right.
All right.
Why not?
If Aaron was your boy, would you say, "Hey, Aaron, you should do that"?
If it's a bag attached to it, you would.
All right.
I don't know because I'm an instigator though. First of all, I'm an enabler.
You're an enabler?
Yeah.
So
you don't let him do it.
if you saw like, hey, this was a very bad thing, you will be embarrassed on national television, you're still gonna be like, yeah, go do that.
I'd be like, do you see like the amount of money you could be making? Blah, blah. It's like that stripper mentality. Like,
right. But he's not respected. Like when people look at him, they don't look like, oh, that's Aaron Carter. I grew up listening to his music. No, they'll be like, hey, there goes the junkie that got beat up by Lamar Odom. I'm not saying that to be mean about Aaron Carter.
It's the reality.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what people are going to say. So as a friend who just admitted who's an enabler, you're going to enable your friend to put himself out there for that?
The thing is,
yes,
he already knows what he's getting himself into. And yeah, he's not respected anymore. But also like, I'm going to take what I could get. I feel like.
Damn, so it's about you.
Definitely not helping my argument.
I would have to drop like low, especially like you've been on that high if you've been on that high before, you're trying to recreate it. Especially like I can imagine because like being on that kind of high, that high like status, that high success kind of energy. And like, if this is like, right, like, how are you going to find that again?
Man, chasing waterfalls, man.
I mean, you could like be picky about it.
All right. But. So the Lamar Odom won, listeners.
That is way with the boy.
Yeah, long story short.
there is something I wanted to ask Kathleen.
Okay.
More or less of an update. All right. So the last time you was on here and we was chopping it up, you were like, I want a guy from jail. I want a guy who's out there selling crack. True. All this. He's putting 38 in his sock, all that shit.
Right.
Now time has fast forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you bigger now. You pushing Mercedes.
New microphone.
I should.
You take your trips overseas. Gucci, Chanel, Prada, shit. All even the shit that people can't afford but love talk about, like Dior and other shit. Yeah. Now you got all that going on. And you get Fenty sponsorships. Are you still going for that guy who just came out of prison?
No, I think he has to be on a different level.
What?
Okay.
So now he's got to be coming out of like a rehab house?
Well, he can still go to jail. He can still go to jail. He can still be in jail, but for tax evasion.
Oh, okay. White collar crime.
White collar crime.
All right.
Okay. Now, but does he have to go to jail? Can it just be somebody who... So it needs to be somebody that went to jail?
No. The jail part is irrelevant. It's the energy. It's about that time, right, y'all?
Yeah, that's why at first I was like, damn, I was like, we could have at least said like our goodbyes to Kathleen. He said, yo.
It's some of those hang-ups. Like.
Nah, it just did it. I'm not sure if there was like some network issue or what happened, but it was weird.
Yeah, Kathleen, we've been talking to you for too long.
Man, I've been telling Nigel to get Verizon. He still want to hang on to that.
I have
local.
Verizon. They're coming to set it up on Tuesday.
Oh,
now, now you don't have it now.
I do. They just haven't came and set it up.
Listen, you got an iPhone, but you haven't cleaned your act up all the way yet, man.
Come on, man.
I know. I'm happy you joined that team for real.
Thank you. I respect
that. Oh my gosh.
It's really not that big of a deal.
But don't even right now.
No. Look. The iPhone is a good phone. The iPhone is the better phone right now. Hold on. Wait, because I know y'all want to say something. Hold on. Hold on. I enjoy the iPhone. It has a better camera. But iMessage is cool. FaceTime is cool. But the apps work a little bit better. Yes, I enjoy the iPhone. Are y'all happy? Give me that.
I'm happy for you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm glad you tightened up, man.
Yeah, I did have a vision of you when you had that freaking Android. Oh my gosh, bro. Because you be posting on Snap. I'm like, quality. You love Snap, but I mean, it's just like taking the essence.
Nah,
shit looks pixelated, man. You be shooting camera being 320, man.
Nah, the phone is better now. So
life is better, man.
It's crazy because when I call him, it sounds clear. No distortion.
Doesn't sound like he's under a cliff or a rock.
Yeah, the text messages come quick on time.
I was thinking the same thing. It's the text messages for me.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Nah, I'm a bad texter, though. That's just like what it is.
It's like a little bit of both.
It does seem like that the iPhone. He's reacted to messages and shit now. Like,
say, yo, I love this shit, yo.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm telling you.
Yo, listen, man. He replies with a reply now.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, yo, Naja scrolls all the way up to like 2 days ago and be like, yo, you see this conversation? This is when you said it, bro.
Like, what? God. All right. So go ahead, Kathleen.
That's like when it comes to iPhones, I get like, oh, this person has their act together. This person got their life together. That's the vibes I get. Like, you got an Android, like, I don't know. I think you still need to figure some stuff out. Like, are you lost?
Searching for yourself?
Hey,
yeah.
Did you hear that? Mental note.
I have an iPhone.
Okay, there you go.
Hey.
I have an iPhone.
So you
how's your life been since you got an iPhone?
Yes, I'm so curious.
Anything good's happened?
He got a new car.
Yeah,
he running his own business now.
Yeah, new cable service coming in.
Yeah, that's what I see.
Yo, listen, man, you're not fooling nobody.
You just got a compliment saying like, hey, now you can have confidence when you're talking to high class women. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Kathleen, do you have anything else for the listeners before you leave for the night?
Life was different.
Hey, you know what, Kathleen? Where can we find you at? Because we haven't got any of your socials yet.
So find me on SoKlene_podcast on Instagram.
Boom.
And I also have another Instagram, Miss_SoKlene. And you can find me on TikTok. I love watching jail TikTok, y'all. So
jail TikTok.
Yeah.
Nah, the jail shit's crazy.
I love it.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it after we get off.
Okay. Did not know about a jail TikTok. All right.
Nah, I mean the jail Instagram's crazy too.
Ooh.
Nah, I've seen them go live on Instagram before.
And on YouTube.
I've never seen them.
Yeah, man, this shit's everywhere. That shit's everywhere.
I love how they make it fun.
Yeah.
So
something like that. All right.
I seen a dude one time, he was doing pull-ups from like the second tier. He was hanging off the second tier doing pull-ups. Jesus. And I was like, yo, if he falls, he might die.
I was thinking suicide a little bit when you mentioned that. Like,
but he was hanging and literally just doing pull-ups the whole time.
It's that brave, reckless, like energy.
What that you like.
Yes.
You
it's
fuck
dumb.
with that.
I live for it though.
Yeah, that's what turns you up.
Yeah.
All they gotta have is an iPhone and everything be straight, right?
Right.
As long as they have an iPhone.
Then a little time. Yeah. Got an iPhone.
Yeah. That's it.
And high energy.
True.
That's it.
All right.
Just know he might steal your shit in the middle of the night, though.
Kathleen, we've had a good time talking with you.
Thanks. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, it won't be the last time. We are excited to see y'all, and we will see you later.
See y'all later. Thanks.
Take care.
Y'all.
Take care. It was nice seeing you.
Nice seeing y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Be safe. Yo, what's up, listeners? So as you just heard the Queen Kathleen, aka SoKlene, and shouts out to her. But now it's back to the Migos. We're the real Migos. It's like no, but
I'm Takeoff. The talent, the most.
It's funny.
I'll be Quavo. I don't give a fuck. I'll be Quavo. I'll be that nigga. Skirt.
A few years ago, they would have said Takeoff was like the one that was kind of on the outs with the talent and whatnot, but he killed it on his latest album.
Yeah.
He absolutely did, man.
Yeah, he showed out. I think he did show out more if anybody on that album. Like, I mean, but I think we all have said like talent wise, Takeoff is the most talented one off the Migos. He's always been the more talented one. It's just
I would have said Offset.
Nah. Rapping ability. He's Takeoff's the most talented one.
Yes, I agree with you 100% there, Spence. I think Offset is the one that could be a solo rapper.
Yeah.
He's the one to be a solo rapper and actually have a career from it. I just think that he got it to be that. And no knock on Takeoff because I think Takeoff could have I think he could have a solid solo even though he already dropped a solo project. But I felt like when he dropped that solo project, QC was kind of like, hey, we already got the Offset and Quavo one out the way. Go ahead, Takeoff. That's how it felt like to me. But I think Takeoff is he's definitely the best rapper out the group. I remember Lil Yachty said him and Takeoff, they had a joint project that they were just sitting on, never came out. I would like to hear it because I think it actually would be entertaining as long as Lil Yachty's not using his auto-tune shit. As long as he's not using auto-tune.
Come on now.
No, but he makes songs without it. It's just that his auto-tune shit is much more popular. But
hey man,
did you hear the Michigan boat project that he dropped?
Nah, I don't listen to Lil Yachty, man. No, I'm part of it. I ride with Big Soldier.
Hey, shouts out to
King Draco.
Shouts out to him. But last thing that we'll move on to real topics. A lot of people liked it. They thought that Lil Yachty was rapping and he was going hard. So I'll just leave it there. If you guys ever going to listen, which I know you won't, cool.
I'll check it out. Yeah. I'll look for it and I'll check it out. I mean, I'm quite sure like it may be better than what I think. It may actually surprise my expectations. Similar to like Clarissa Shields for Clarissa Shields rather.
I was I gotta ask, why do you say Clarissa Shields? You've said that multiple times now.
It's just a habit.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought there was a special naming of hers or something like that.
Nah, it's like I think it's because of like going to school. I met more people with the last name the Shields than the Shields. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So like but Clarissa Shields, she actually debuted in MMA over the weekend. Well, actually, when episode 59 came out that Thursday, she repeated so a week ago. She actually won. She won her first MMA. I think it was with PFL.
Yeah, she went in and fought, if I'm not mistaken, the woman's name was Brittany Elkin. Had a little trouble in the first 2 rounds, but eventually came back in the third and won the TKO finish. I think it's really cool for Clarissa Shields to do that, you know what I mean, to make the transition over and actually catch a win. Regardless if she had some adversity in her first fight or not, I think it's pretty dope. And not only that, I think the adversity shows that she can actually, weather a little bit of a storm. And mind you, she's new to this. You know what I mean? So it's not to be unexpected that this is going to happen.
I think, one, it couldn't happen to a better woman. And 2, it couldn't happen in a better way. I think if she came in, knocked the young lady out, there's going to be a lot of criticism of like, oh, well, she beat a 3-6. Well, now she's 3-7. Mick Dojo, brown belt, Brazilian jiu-jitsu lady who's been fighting for 12 years but getting spanked for a majority of it. And she just knocked her out. She's a bomb. She was da-da-da. And don't get me wrong, the young lady was brought in to do a job. But I think that Clarissa losing the first 2 rounds, kind of, getting out grappled and stuff like that, it's a wake-up call to her and all to the diehard boxing purist that like, hey, she's lucky that she lost 2 rounds to somebody who wasn't that good versus if she fought Kayla Harrison, she probably would have got finished in the first round. So that's something I felt like Clarissa needed for her to realize like, okay, yes, I made some mistakes, because she admitted it that she made mistakes in the fight. Yes, I made mistakes. Yes, I knew but she was able to overcome that and get the TKO finish in that third round, which is good because it just shows like she's not going to panic in bad situations, which is very important for her because she will be put in a lot of bad situations moving forward because she's at a disadvantage from coming in so late to the game and fighting at a level like the PFL. And yes, I know, to the casual fan out there, oh, she didn't fight in the UFC, bro. We get that. The PFL is still at a higher level than what most people come in who just start doing MMA. You know, people do amateur fights before they start fighting at the professional level. She just jumped straight in to one of the top MMA leagues. So I'm happy with Clarissa Shields' win. I think her losing 2 rounds is actually a benefit for her because it's a learning experience of what she needs to go back. Now, here's where my concern is for Clarissa Shields. Will she give up boxing to excel at MMA? Because if she's like, well, I'm just doing this for like cash grab fights and like showcase fights, then cool. She doesn't have to give up boxing for that. But if she wants to be elite and then maybe one day fight Amanda Nunes at 145, which that might be a challenge because Clarissa fights at 155, she has to dedicate her life to MMA moving forward. And I'm not talking about what she does outside the gym. I'm talking about like she's going to have to give up boxing because you're not going to be able to beat the Amandas of the world, Valentina Shevchenko's, Eva Kayla Harrison, Chris Cyborgs in MMA if she does not stop her boxing. And I'm not talking about boxing as far as training. I'm talking about boxing as far as like, hey,
competition.
Right. 7 months, I'm training for a fight in MMA. Then the next 7 months, I'm training for a boxing fight. That might derail her because all the top women in MMA have world-class grappling. And that's obviously her weak area that she needs to improve on. And don't get me wrong, yeah, she won't panic in bad situations, but she could still lose. And those women I just mentioned, they could dominate her. Like, you don't have to panic or not. We're still going to dominate you. So I think, like, it's promising for Clarissa. I hope that she continues in her MMA journey if that's what she decides to do. And I'm going to root for her all the way because she's doing it the right way. She's not doing it like the pussy-ass boxers that's trying to, bait the MMA fighters to come to the boxing ring so they could fight at the limited, rigged Queensberry rule set. So shouts out to Clarissa. You got a fan in me, and keep showing how these pussy-ass boxers should be doing.
To what you have said, I do agree that she'll have to, if she wants to pursue MMA as a real career down the line, I agree there where she has to give up boxing at some point. And if she were to, it wouldn't be too surprising because she would be leaving as the best fighter in the world. So she would be leaving as the best fighter in the world to go try something else. So it wouldn't be too surprising. And she's really young. So she's only like 25, 26, I believe. So she wouldn't have, I don't see her having, as of right now, from what I've seen, and it could always change depending on her progression. I don't see her being like the elite MMA fighter. But I do see where she has the capabilities to learn from her experience in the cage so far. Because like you said, the takedowns that was like a huge factor. I think it probably could have stopped. It was stopping her. It was playing more of a factor than what she probably was prepared for. She was still able to hold her own, and eventually she was able to make something out of something. For someone like Clarissa Shields, it's I think it'd be a little hard for her to leave the sport. I think for her it's just a cash grab because I think she's even came out and said she gets paid. She makes more money doing this MMA fight than she has doing boxing. And definitely coming off of a win. I mean, we've seen where Logan Paul's gotten.
Yeah.
So you actually have someone that's a real boxer. You never know. Definitely if it's like she's making the most money she's ever made. Do a quick cash grab and get up out of there.
I mean, the way I see it is like, I think she has the right to go ahead and try MMA if she wants. And if she really wants to, like you said, Lyle, she's going to have to really just dedicate more time, because that's just what it would take to compete at a high level, you know, with the other females at that weight class. So, I mean, shouts out to her. I hope she has more success. I'm not sure if all the listeners got a chance to watch, but I know we all got a chance to watch. There was a lot of people who had success at UFC 263 and that just passed last night for us, this past weekend for the listeners. Guys, what did you think? Where do you want to start?
Let's start at the main event, the headliner. Israel taking Marvin to school, outclassed him, and the big question was like, oh, well, Jan Blachowicz was able to hold Israel down, take him down at will. Marvin might implement the same game plan. And Marvin tried and he failed. You know, I don't think Marvin did a good job with his wrestling. Yeah, he was able to get Izzy down like 2 or 3 times, but Izzy popped right back up. Even there was a point where Izzy swept him. So, like, it was just the grappling was a non-factor. It showed like Israel, he worked on his wrestling, looked like he learned from the Blachowicz fight. Izzy, the striking was crazy. Israel slipped a lot of punches. He slipped so many punches. Yeah, and Marvin was able to hit him with 2 or 3 jabs and a few straights. But I don't think there were like anything impactful, because obviously Israel was still doing what he was doing throughout the entire fight. So I know that you have people like Chael Sonnen, his type of mindset, who was like, hey, yeah, Israel was the right person that won, but it wasn't at 50-45. And I hate that, because I'm like, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, Israel won every round of that fight. I just don't see how you could give Marvin a single round. And he was sitting there hoping for the best to score takedowns every round. And I don't know, man. It looked like Marvin he wasn't ready to fight at that level.
The thing that made me laugh was at the end of the fight, you saw them standing in the ring talking to each other in the octagon, and Marvin's apparently saying, "Yeah, I think I won that fight. I think I won that fight." And I'm just like, yo, you know, you got to get over it, man. Like, you lost twice to him. You know what I mean? Convincingly. And I got to give him credit, because he didn't look bad in this fight. He was definitely game for competition. Like, he hung in there all 5 rounds and was in there. But Izzy just outstruck him. And when they got on the ground, he was surprisingly crafty in order to get up. Like, I got to respect Izzy for the performance he put on this weekend, because he did his thing in order to win. I thought he was going to finish him, but he was just more dominant, and instead of, you know, actually getting the finish. But I mean, like, shouts out to him though. I also like the fact that he shouted out his friend who passed, you know what I mean, and seemed to speak on that a little bit. But yeah, no, he carried himself well in this fight, and, you know, and every facet of it.
Adesanya, he carried himself perfectly throughout this whole fight, dominated every round. I don't know what fight he was fighting to believe that he won the fight. Similar, just as delusional as his first one with Adesanya. There was an interview between the two of them, like leading up to the fight. And even Adesanya told him that he was like, I beat Adesanya before. He was like, you're still holding on to this one judge. He was like, just let it go. He was like, you're going to find out this weekend why you didn't win the fight the first time. And true to his prescription, he did not figure out whatever he did in the first fight, he must have did in the second fight, because it didn't grant him a win. Yeah. So it was a good fight. I believe, because I kind of, you know, sometimes watching these fights back to back can be a little clustering at times, but I believe that's the same fight where Adesanya was chopping his leg down as well, correct?
Yeah, you talking about the main event that just happened? Yeah. He was, man. Adesanya, man, the way he was whipping the leg kicks and the head kicks, woo!
He was on point.
I got to give credit to Vettori. He defended some of them head kicks well, and he missed some of them. So credit to Vettori. And I did say in the last podcast that he's a tough out. So I didn't pick. I picked Adesanya to win, but I didn't pick him to finish him because I was like, look, Vettori, he's a tough guy. But with that being said, there's not much more credit I can give. So he was taken to school. He got outclassed, and for him to think that he did enough to win that fight last night, we might have to give him the Fabio Award of the week because he got it. That's like, wow, okay. So I mean, I like the main event. I know some of the Adesanya diehard haters were like, "Oh, he's so boring. He never had a good performance." And like, okay, yeah, go ahead. So, but what I will say though, that the co-main event, that was a Ric Flair moment, a tear in my eye, because that Brandon Moreno, that motherfucker was on point last night. What did you guys think of the fight?
Shouts out to Brandon Moreno, man. One thing I forgot to say last week as I was watching the fight was because I was so close to choosing him. In the original fight, in the initial fight, you could tell that they had watched a little bit of tape on Deiveson because he was trying to catch him with these counters, and he was so close to catching him with these counters. So, I'm not surprised that he went back, probably, recollected, and was just very prepared for this fight. He just looked very prepared.
Nah, that's a fact. He looked well prepared in this fight. You could even tell just by the way he was so dominating against Figueredo, where there wasn't really much conversation in terms of who this fight was leaning towards prior to its stoppage. I think they'll probably make it a rubber match after this, because I think Figueredo won the first one and he lost the second one, correct?
Well, so the first one, Figueredo,
no, it was a draw.
Majority draw, right? And a lot of people were saying well, if he didn't kick Brandon Moreno square in the nuts to bail himself out to catch a breath and buy himself some time, he would have won the fight off of points. I thought Brandon Moreno did enough to win the first fight, but it is what it is. The second fight, there was no fucking doubt.
Yeah,
he outboxed him, and when it came to wrestling and grappling, Brandon Moreno, like Nigel said, it looked like his camp was like, "Hey, we know what this motherfucker is going to do, and here's the game plan to stop all that shit."
Yeah.
So, shouts out to Brandon Moreno, the first Mexican-born UFC champion. I know Cain Velasquez and Henry Cejudo. I know those guys are Mexicans as well, but apparently they were born in America, which I didn't know. I thought Velasquez was born in Mexico. I didn't know he was born in America. But so I'm telling you right now, I think it's going to be a good look for Brandon Moreno because, when he won last night and the crowd was going crazy for a win, I was like, this guy feels like he could be a star. You know what I mean? Even though he has that quirky personality, and I've seen something on Twitter where he likes to collect Legos and action figures and shit. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's cool.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, because I feel like there's a crowd of people that do the same thing for him. So they'll gravitate to him just off the strength of that. Right. So, shouts out to Brandon Moreno. And I think that he'll, I could see dude getting popularity, especially with the Latino market and all that. I could see them fucking with him. And the way he fights, he don't fight like no bitch, man. He fights like he's coming to win. No, I enjoyed the way he fought in both fights. This fight and the last fight he had with Figueredo. This motherfucker, man, hands up, and he's walking forward the whole fucking time. I fucks with it, man. No, and he's not, and he's not like a human punching bag. He's, you could tell this guy got some skill to him.
He's trying to fight, you know what I mean? And that's the type of fighter you want, though, because it's like, it reminds me of Kenny Florian a lot. Like, he came in there, he's like, hey, like, I finish fights, you know what I mean? And he was finishing people, like, back to back to back. So, I mean, like, you want that type of guy in there. Not only is it good for you as a fighter, you know, because you're going in there, you're finishing the job, and you're not getting into wars and shit, but it's good for, you know, your perception from your, you know, the fan base, us in this, like, situation. Yo, we fuck with you because you're actually trying to go in there and fight and get the job done. Point fighting is cool, but like we don't always want that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of person who didn't get the job done, right?
Speaking of,
had to steal one of yours in this case.
Right.
Is the Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards fight? Well, before I give my opinion on the fight. What did you guys think of the fight between those two?
You mind if I get my word first, Lyle?
Yeah, go ahead, Nigel. Go do your thing.
So I watched the fight last night, and I think Leon Edwards looked relatively impressive in the fight. I think he did exactly what we said he was gonna go in there and do. He went in there, he was dominant in pretty much all facets of the fight. I have a complaint though. It's not with Leon Edwards or Nate Diaz. Shouts out to Nate Diaz because he came to fight. He signed, you know, on the dotted line. He was in there. He did his thing. Whatever. Cool. Right? Dana White's at the press conference. They say, hey, Dana White, who's next at 170? He says, Colby's still at number one. I got to complain about this because Colby just beat Tyron Woodley off an injury while we just saw Leon Edwards go through like multiple hardships and pick up some good performances on the way. 9-fight win streak, and somehow Colby Covington is the next guy. But we all know what it is. Like Colby Covington, there you go. Politics short, you know, he has the name, the rematch. He's a little bit of a character, blah, 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 blah. But if I'm being honest, like me as a fan of the sport, and I think a lot of people would agree with me, I'd rather see Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman at this moment in time. I don't think Colby Covington is going to go in there and do anything different than what happened in the first fight. I think Kamaru Usman has got, we'll save that for another day, but I just have a strong issue with that part of it.
Well, here's what I thought. Leon did beat him very handily, and he was winning the entire fifth round except for the last minute.
Literally.
Yeah, except for the last minute. And Diaz, he caught him with a good 1-2. I'm thinking like that one that he hit him with, or it was a 3-2, but the first one he hit him with was a slap. And then before he hit him with a left. And then when he wobbled him, instead of Diaz bull rushing him, he like pointed at him. And I thought that was a little weird. But what I will say is I'm not mad at Diaz because, you know, Diaz came to fight. He happened to get a good one off of Leon, and you saw Leon, the motherfucker was like, he was about to be staring at the lights in a few moments, but it didn't happen. Leon picked up the rifle win. What I have a problem with was, to Nigel's point, Leon won't get the title shot. I thought he's not going to get the title shot off of what happened to him in the last minute of the fight. Because now the narrative is spinning is, hey, if Diaz had one more minute, if there was another round, he would have finished Leon. Oh, if this was real street fighting, Diaz would have knocked him out, finished him. And I hate that narrative because I'm like, yes, Diaz did land a good punch, and Diaz could have finished the fight, but Diaz did not finish the fight. And when it came down to the judges, Diaz did lose 24 minutes out of 25. And it's so crazy that we have to, the UFC and the fans of Diaz will ignore the pummeling that he received prior to that moment. And Colby getting the rematch with Usman, I'm not upset at it because I knew that's what the UFC was pushing hard for. The only reason why Colby wasn't going to get it if Nate Diaz won, Dana was going to back up the Brinks truck for it because he knows Nate Diaz could give him some money. But since that had happened, and he knows Leon isn't going to give him no fucking money in a pay-per-view because that's just not what his personality brings, you know. they're gonna do the Kobe rematch. They're gonna do MAGA versus non-MAGA, and Kobe is gonna go to the fucking moon with promoting it, being ultra racist or whatever the fuck. Whether he really is behind the scenes or not, who knows? But we know that's the character he's gonna try to portray. So it looks like Leon is now on the back burner. I've seen that, hey, he might have to fight the winner of Burns and Wonder Boy, which is ridiculous, but that's my problem with it. It's kind of like the fans of Nate Diaz create such a strong narrative that Nate Diaz would have won if there was a 6th round, that now it's fucking like Leon, who has the longest win streak behind Kamaru Usman, won't get a shot at a title due to the last minute of the fight because he happened to get caught with a punch. And I just look, and I think that's such a shame for Leon. Like, that must be so demoralizing for a fighter who's on a 9-fight, 10-fight win streak, dominating every opponent, but the 160 seconds, even though he won that fight, that final 60 seconds is what people are like, well, he doesn't deserve the number. He doesn't deserve it now. Give it back to Kobe. And that's such a shame, man. And I have no problem with Nate Diaz because Nate Diaz didn't do anything wrong. He was entertaining. He landed a good punch. He didn't finish it, which was weird, but I have no problem with Nate Diaz, but I hate the narrative that's going to be spinning. And by the way, last before least, listeners, we have a special listener who was acting like Marvin Vettori in the comments. So, I hope when this video comes out, let's see what he has to say. And I'm interested in what he has to say because he was throwing all sorts of expletives and shit like that. And I'm kind of like, all right, motherfucker, we're going to say when Nate loses. Nate did lose. So let's see what you're going to say.
And it was probably just a burner account, yo.
It could have been. Shouts out to Nate Diaz if it's a burner account.
You guys pretty much said everything I wanted to say, except personally, when it comes to Nate Diaz, after watching that fight, I think it's time just to hang it up. Personally, he got dominated for 24 minutes out of 25. This is like his first fight back in, I think, a couple of years, I believe. So I didn't see anything that was impressive. And when he did have a chance to actually steal the fight for a win, which would have probably done wonders for him in terms of his next fighting opportunity, he decides to sit and point, which to me was just like, that probably was like the one thing that pissed me off the most about the fight, was that you had a chance to finish the fight that you were losing. Your corner's letting you know you're losing the fight. Your corner's telling you in the 4th round, going into the 5th round, hey, we got to put it all, everything's on the line in this one round. And you get to that point and you break through, you practically have him on baby deer legs. Like he's literally standing like a newborn baby deer. And instead of trying to finish him, you just sit and point and you taunt him. And eventually, I think the thing that got me about it was that he tried to finish him off after he recovered. So it's like Leon Edwards starts recovering, it's too late at this point. So, with all that being said, I think it is messed up that Leon Edwards won't be able to fight for the title next, but I think we all know what that is. Plus, on top of it, it's a good fight to sell. So between Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman. So I think even if Nate Diaz had won the fight, I think Nate Diaz would have just been the next up after Colby. I think Colby versus Kamaru Usman brings in more dollars than Kamaru versus Nate or Leon. So unfortunately, Leon Edwards won't be able to get the winner of that fight. Though I think we should go back to some sense of the original way of fighting used to be, where it's like, hey, the best guy fights the next best guy. The champion fights the next best guy. But it like we said, it's politics. A lot of this stuff is political now. So, and until then, that's all I have to say about it. I think Nate Diaz should just kind of hang it up for now and just wait for the Conor fight. Because I think if Conor loses, like next month, then it's probably going to just be Conor versus Nate, and that's it. So,
I mean, I wouldn't be interested in watching it because it's going to be a fight where, like, it means nothing.
Ready to sell.
I mean, it's going to sell, and it's just $1 million payday for both men, but it doesn't hold any weight as far as like who's next for a title shot. Like, fans like those type of fights, but they don't like it when it's like this is the headlining act. And I feel like the headlining act should always be a fight that means something. Hey, this is a meaningful fight. Something is going to come from this, not Floyd and Logan Paul.
Like, I mean, but I think something will come. I think what they'll set that fight up for, that fight will probably be set up as Conor's last fight. They'll probably set that up as
like a retirement fight.
Yeah, like imagine if you have Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz, and they both come out and say, "Hey, this is my last fight." Two big audiences. The pay-per-view will sell like it'd probably be one of the highest pay-per-views for MMA.
When you do it like that, I fucks with it because that's a story to sell.
Right.
But
it reminds me of the old UFC cards where they can have like the actual good fights that aren't title fights as the main event. And at that point, I can respect it because of the way they do it. You know what I mean?
Man, I mean, when Conor's fighting, he's unfortunately, well, I'm not going to say unfortunately, the man has earned it, but he's going to be the main event.
Of course.
No matter, he's going to be main event. But one thing Spence said about Nate Diaz's corner saying, like, you're losing this fight, that, let's bring it to the main event. Vittoria's corner, his fucking coach was yelling at the top of his lungs, "You're losing this fight." every round, they were showing the picture. "You're losing this fight. You got to do this. You got to be first. What is going on? I thought you want to be champion."
I'm winning, coach.
Yeah, and Vittoria arguing with this coach. It's like, man, you can't help people like that. You got to let them figure it out on their own.
Nah, that's a fact. Some people like that is just like, yo, it's a lost cause, man. This is straight up. At that point, it's like, even the coach probably knew, was like, I'm not coaching this kid after this, man. Waste of time, man. Waste of space and place.
Yeah, that's but listeners, just to close out our review of UFC 263, I thought UFC 263 was a fun night. There was a boring fight in the Bilal Muhammad Damian Maia fight, but good for Bilal Muhammad by beating his highest ranked opponent, even though it was old man Damian. And the opening fight of the card was crazy because Paul Craig, it looked like he ripped a guy's arm out of socket. Jamal Hill, I think I want to say.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Jamal Hill because it came back that actually his arm wasn't torn or ripped or nothing. It was just out of place. They popped it back in place and they say it's full range of motion. So it'll probably just be swollen and sore, of course, but credit to him because it didn't look like it looked like he was still trying to fight until he was like, "Look, I just can't fight."
His arm was dangling and shit.
That was crazy. I'm not even gonna hold you. That was probably one of the most graphic things I've seen in a while. Because he was getting punched in the head. And for listeners who didn't watch the fight with Paul Craig versus Jamal Hill, there was a point where he was getting punched. Jamal Hill was getting punched, and pretty much his arm that was dislocated was dangling, while his arm that wasn't dislocated was dangling as well. And the referee just kind of looked like, "Hey, are you going to defend yourself?" And it was just, and like he looked at the referee like, "Yo, I don't think something's right." It's like, keep fighting. And
Paul Craig was like, "Hey man, I gotta hit you."
Yeah. So it was kind of crazy. It's good to get the news back that he's safe. He's safe in that, like, he didn't break anything, but it was definitely a nasty looking injury during the fight.
Yeah, and I think the rule book states like, hey, if somebody's arm is like dislocated or broken, the referee immediately needs to stop the fight, and that's to protect the fighter. Yeah, and for further damage. And the fact that the ref just sat there like he was Steve Mazzagatti reincarnated, it was just it's fucking ridiculous. But whatever. You notice how he didn't ref the rest of the night.
I mean, hey,
Dana probably pulled him to the back, man, and say, "Yeah, don't even worry about coming back, yo."
He's like, just go home.
Yeah,
it's nice there.
It's like if you get home in time, you can watch the rest of the fight, the rest of the card.
Yeah, you just not watching it here tonight.
Yeah, he's like, I'll give you $60. Go ahead and just order it when you get home.
It's like, no, I'll give you $30. It's like we paid you enough money that you could be able to do it on your own to pay for the other half.
Yeah, I mean, since you did a half-ass job tonight. So.
Yo, that's crazy. Dana White giving somebody $30 is crazy. That's as crazy as Drake coming up with $150.
Yeah,
get the fuck out of here.
Nah, that's a fact.
That's insane.
That's a fact. Yo, you should have seen.
It's out the blue.
That's sick. Like, you should have seen that when Drake came with the money, right? Because 100,000 was already guaranteed. He had said 100, and then he was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna spice it up by adding some extra money." Just casually pulls out $50,000 out of his pockets. Like, you can't even tell that he had $150,000 in his pockets. So it definitely was interesting. It was definitely interesting.
I wonder if he's betting any money on the playoffs that's going on. I know we have a little bit of an update as to what's going on with NBA playoffs.
He's got to.
I mean, the Raptors aren't in it. Does he really care? You know what I mean?
I mean, but Drake, I think Drake comes across as like a sports fan, like a basketball fan.
I'll give you that. He does seem to care about sports somewhat. They call it the Drake curse.
Yes.
When he hugs some of the MMA fighters, even though it's been proven to not be true.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's still true, though.
The Madden curse is like relatively true, though.
Yeah, I mean, hell, look what happened. The Drake curse exists. He went to party with LeBron, and LeBron's not in the playoffs.
That is true.
I'll put it like this. Future athletes, if you're around Drake before a big event, hang out with him at your risk. After the event, party hard as fuck with Drake. But before, just tell Drake, hey, man, I'll catch you after the show. Because
it seems to be about 50-50.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll never forget the Carter one when Drake was waving the Irish flag. And then the next night, Carter gets beat up by Habib. It's fucking incredible. So
that was an amazing fight, man. That was an amazing weekend, I think, for them.
Yeah. But about the playoffs, because Nigel did mention it. At this time of this recorded, listeners, the Suns are now in the Western Final Conference. They're 4-0 the Nuggets, and the Joker, who just won MVP of the NBA this season, his ass just got booted. So now the Suns are in the West Finals. I think this is Chris Paul's first Finals appearance out of his storied career. Yep. Shouts out to him. Have you guys seen that video that was trending on Twitter the other day where this guy beat the shit out of his Denver player while they were playing at Denver? And after he beat the shit out of them, he was like, Suns in 4. And then
what? That's crazy.
Yo, it was on Twitter. Yo, look that shit up. Just like Google Suns in 4 guy or whatever. It was trending on Twitter. It was like it was one of like the top 5 things trending. But like, he beat the shit out the guy and he was like Suns in 4 while holding the guy's head down in the fucking crowd.
My God, man, that's kind of ruthless.
And the guy was in Denver.
He wasn't wrong though. I mean, the game's about 2 minutes and they got 7 points to go. Yeah, they're not gonna make that.
The fucking Milwaukee Bucks, man.
Oh yeah, they tied the series.
Man. Kyrie's hurt. James Harden, he's still hurt. Now it's all on KD, man. Now this is, if KD wants to get away from the LeBron being under LeBron's shadow, this is his time to step it the fuck up and carry that Nets team. Because we don't want to hear anything about like, oh well, we don't want to hear any excuses. As much as crap LeBron gets, he carried a crappy ass Cleveland team for years. for years. And I'm not talking about when he had Kyrie and Kevin Love, even though he carried them too. But before Kyrie, Kevin Love, and after Kyrie, Kevin Love, LeBron was holding that team on his back.
What was the one kid? Not Charlie Villanova.
You talk about the backup point guard that they were trying to hype up?
Nah, not even a point guard. I think he was a big man. I think he was like a 4 or a 5. Had like a bunch of hair. What was his name?
Oh, I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
because they try to make him be like his Shaquille O'Neal, and he definitely didn't make the cut.
No, we're gonna see if KD is like KD is your time to shine. This is the playoffs. There's teams that want to go to the NBA championship too. They're not gonna croak over so you can go up and get a ring. You know, you look at the West, the Suns. They're about to be in their first finals. I mean, Western Conference Finals, and God knows how long. And you got the fucking teams in the East who are just croaking over to the Nets. So the Bucks, they're not fucking around. So kudos to Chris Middleton and Giannis for working like a tandem against the Nets. And then the 76ers, they're balling out too. They might send the Hawks home. After there was a lot of hype on the Hawks, Embiid and Ben Simmons, man, they're not fucking around too. They want to get to the East Finals. So it's these playoffs are heating up. So by next week we'll have a better outlook on who's going to be in the conference finals. Yeah,
definitely will be. I'll be interested to see how that plays out. I did check out the Suns in 4.
I'm watching that right now.
That joint is crazy.
Yo, he lumped that guy up, held him down by his necks. Suns in 4.
He shouldn't have been swinging on him like that.
Yeah,
yeah.
He went off swinging and then got beat up, and then he started like cheering for his team right after that. That's wild.
It's like
in their stadium,
as if nothing happened.
That's why they're about to get swept. I don't even have to watch the rest of the game, man. When shit like that happens to your fans, like it's
Hey, man. He owns the Suns, as some of the comments are saying. Not the Suns. He's the new Nuggets owner. He owns that. How the fuck you beat the shit out of a fan in Denver, and you're like Suns in 4 and walk out unscathed?
And the craziest part of that was he was hitting 2 people.
Yeah.
Because he was beating the one dude that attacked him.
Yeah.
And then he punched his friend a couple of times while holding the other guy, and then said Suns in 4.
And Suns in 4 became true.
Yeah. That's how confident he was in Chris Paul and Devin Booker, man. You know, he can beat the shit out of him and predict.
Jeez, man.
Like, come on.
Jeez. You guys got anything else to say?
No.
Hey,
Suns in 4, man.
The Clippers, they avoided being swept, which is crazy. It seems like for Kawhi Leonard, man, it looks like for this guy, I don't know what it is. It's like he likes playing in 7-game series. It's like
Wakes him up.
It's like he's getting blown out the first 2 games, then he's coming back dropping 30, 40. And now it's a 7-game series. It's crazy. It's just
I don't have much to say to the listeners. I'll drop the ads. It sounds like you're about to, give your weekly, views, Spence. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, as we wind down and we go through another week, make sure you wear, as we go into the weekend, as this week has winded down, make sure you wear your mask, keep your gloves on or your sanitizer. If you want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. It's all up to you. You make that decision, not me. And of course, one thing we can't forget, you got to stay hydrated. The sun is out. It's a little bit different now. The sun is tap dancing on the back of your neck at this point. So I suggest you stay hydrated with a nice bottle of H2O as often as you can, as much as you can. Make sure the water is clean. That's all I can ask you. Other than that,
do you have anything else?
So I just want to say shouts out to SoKlene Kathleen. Shouts out to her. Thanks for coming on. You can't wait to do the next one. Shouts out to all the listeners. Thanks for tuning in for episode 60. Damn, 60 plus episodes. You know what I mean? Episode 61 should be a good one. So just thank you all. Everybody stay safe, get rich or die trying. You all will probably end up dying trying. So
if not, I'll give you some money.
I will give you money. That's what emperors used to do to their loyal subjects. So, so shouts out to everybody. Cheap plug-in for a company. Hopefully they pick us up one day with a nice 7-figure contract. Loki just came out on Disney Plus, and first episode was pretty entertaining. So listeners, fans, definitely check that out because Loki seems like it's going to be a good show.
Listeners, speaking of giving away things for the podcast, Spence has mentioned to me in little chats to the side that he will be willing to share his DMs for a certain price. We are bidding the price for Spence's DMs on all social media and the text in his phone. Everything is out for the public. He said he's doing it.
And yes, and we made this agreement that I'll do this in tandem as Nigel offers up his PS5. His PS5.
Yeah, the text don't mean that much, nigga. Come on.
Right.
For the PS5, Nigel?
They're not your text, Law.
No.
Spencer's text.
Hey, man.
No, he's talking about you're giving up your PS5.
I'm talking about his text messages.
Right.
Hey, Spencer's cool with it. Hey, say no more, Law. You got it. You're right. No.
Are you cool with giving up your PS5 for him to reveal his text messages?
And Spencer's cool with his text messages. No deleting anything. We're going back years.
So what you're saying is you're cool with giving away an item that you called me in the morning one time, pissed off because you couldn't get it. You're cool with giving it away because your homeboy is willing to reveal his text message.
If Spence is willing to reveal all of his text messages in DMs.
So Nigel Lee Jackson is going to give away his PS5 that he was so passionate about.
If Spence is willing to do the other
Don't convince him of anything otherwise, man. No, you trying to talk him out of something.
No. Too late. I just wanted to be sure.
The bidding war.
Because I'll tell you right now. The way that Nigel called me one morning, I'm so fucking pissed off. I swear to God, I ain't dealing with this no more.
I'm editing that. I ain't do any of that. We got anything else for the listeners?
Man.
Listeners.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. That never happened, but
I'm just joking. That never happened.
Listeners, you can follow us at Highly Advised Podcast on YouTube, Highly Advised Podcast on Instagram, Advise Highly on Twitter. I am relaxing Noji_Jackson. That is my boy. Big Cozy, Too Cozy, and my other boy, Saints, ST.KITCH. You have been highly advised. Thank you. We respect y'all. We will be back next week.
You have been highly advised. Episode 60. Shashaw.